Pastor Ed here with Daily Devotions for Wednesday, April the 10th, 2024. After a little divergence or whatever you want to call it yesterday with some Easter laughter, today we're going to get into our gospel reading from not the gospel reading, actually, the Acts reading from this past Sunday, Acts 1, 1 to 14. But we're going to focus actually just on verse 8, one of my favorite verses in all of the book of Acts. But where Jesus says, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." And so when I was thinking about this, I was reminded of, I'm I guess you'd say a child of the 60s. I graduated from junior high or middle school in 1970. So my entire elementary and middle school years were in the 60s. And I would have been young for Kennedy's inaugural address, but it really shaped really a lot of people in that decade and that generation of people. If you remember the famous speech, "Ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you could do for your country." So it's not just about, what the country is going to do for us, but what's our role in this? What's our job? What's our responsibility? And I was sort of reminded of that when I read this, actually going back to verse 6, because when Jesus, in Acts 1 here, as Jesus is describing being with his disciples before his ascension, they ask him in verse 6, when they come together, "Lord, is this the time when you will restore the kingdom to Israel?" Is this the time when you will restore, when you're going to do something? Of course, he answers in verse 7 that it's not for you to know the times or periods that the Father has set by his own authority. But then he turns it around on him. He says, "But you," in verse 8, "but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." There's that focus on kind of like a little bit of a connection there, analogy of Kennedy's. It's not what we're going to do for you, it's what you're going to be a part of as well. And that, as a young boy, that inspired me, whether you agree with everything that president did or what was done in the 1960s, those are, I think you can safely argue that that was an inspiring message. And Jesus has an inspiring message here. You will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. So we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the idea of power. And then so that's Thursday. On Friday, we're going to talk about the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit's role in that. And then finally on Saturday it's on Friday, and then on Saturday about being witnesses. But we're focusing today on this idea of you. Just got a email from my daughter Sarah. She that lives and works she works at Georgetown University. They live in Arlington, Virginia. When we've gone down to visit them, we've gone to see all of the sites and so forth. And among them is the Arlington Cemetery, of course. And one of the iconic things at Arlington Seminary, of course, is the tomb of the unknown soldier, which, if you've ever been there, it's a really impressive, moving thing. There's someone on guard there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and each hour a new soldier reports for duty, and it's a whole thing, and it's very just very choreographed in the way they do it and everything. But the interesting thing that I want to share with you is that when that new guard arrives, he receives his orders from the one who is leaving, and the words remain unchanged. The words are always the same. Orders remain unchanged. And then the new guard takes his place, guarding the tomb. It's been argued, Dr. Larry Pettin makes the point, that the same could be said about the orders that Jesus gave his disciples. Again, just before his ascension, He said to his followers, as we heard on Sunday, and I repeated for you again today, you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria to the ends of the earth. In other words, that's your orders. He also said, you may recall in Matthew 28, go and make disciples of all nations. Those are our marching orders. And so from that moment on, to this day, from Christian to Christian, generation to generation, the good news of Jesus Christ has been shared. And so we too are called to tell others about Jesus, that he was the Son of God, that he died for us on the cross, that he gives us the gift of new life, evidenced through his resurrection. And then, in a sense, as we welcome new believers, we are to pass on the orders that we received from those before us to tell this good news to the next generation. So, as he notes, much has changed in the 2,000 years since Jesus chose the first disciples and then later started the church, but that command to spread the good news have not changed. In a sense, from generation to generation, as it passes from person to person, again, from generation to generation, it's almost like at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Orders remain unchanged. It's about what we are called to do in response to all that God first has done for us through Jesus. Well, hope you have a great day. We're going to continue our look at verse 8 of Acts 1 tomorrow by focusing on that word power, when he said you will receive power. Till then, take care. We'll see you then. Bye now.